Mathieu Lambert adjusted his navy blue tie in his small bathroom mirror, checking the knot for the 5th time. His hands trembled as he smoothed the collar of his only good shirt, freshly ironed and lightly scented with starch, just as his mother had taught him. "This is it," he whispered. "Don't mess it up." At 31, Mathieu was underemployed. Despite graduating with honors from École Centrale de Lyon, he had spent the last 3 years working at a garage on the outskirts of Paris, barely making rent. His phone buzzed. A message from his sister Claire. "Good luck, big brother. Renault would be lucky to have you." Mathieu smiled. Claire never stopped believing in him. Renault Technologies was the company. Their electric vehicle division led the industry. This interview could change everything. At 7:15 a.m., he grabbed his briefcase, a gift from his late father, packed with engine blueprints that could improve fuel efficiency by 22%. He stepped into the spring air, climbed into his rebuilt 2009 Peugeot, and hit the A86 highway at 7:30, right on time. Soft music played as he mentally rehearsed answers, having studied Renault's patents and culture for weeks. Then came the rain. What started as a drizzle turned into a downpour. At 8:12, visibility dropped. "Great," he muttered, cranking the wipers. That's when he saw it, a black Citroën on the shoulder, hazard lights blinking, and a woman holding her phone up for signal. His first instinct, keep driving. The interview was too important, but his father's voice echoed in his head, "Never pass someone in trouble." Sighing, Mathieu pulled over and grabbed his raincoat. He dashed into the storm. The woman, soaked and anxious, wore a gray suit. Her name was Sophie. "Flat tire, no signal," she said. "Do you have a spare?" "In the trunk, I think." It was 8:17. Helping meant risking his chance at Renault, but he couldn't drive away. "I'm Mathieu," he said. "I'll fix it." "You sure?" "It's pouring." "I'm already wet." He smiled. She popped the trunk. He got to work, kneeling in the rain, his clothes drenched. "You do this professionally?" she asked. "I'm a mechanic, though this isn't my specialty." "You could have fooled me." As he changed the tire, Sophie asked, "Are you headed somewhere important? You look dressed for more than roadside help." He hesitated. "Job interview." "Oh, no. Where?" "Renault Technologies. Exit 27 Surprise," she said. "I'm going there, too. I'll tell them what you did. Maybe it'll help." Mathieu smiled, but didn't expect much. Renault was strict about punctuality. By 8:49, the job was done. "Replace the spare soon," he advised. "You gave up your shot for a stranger," Sophie said. "Just help someone else someday." She started to reply, but her phone rang. Signal restored. "Thank you, Mathieu," she said. He got back in his car. The interview was slipping away. He was soaked, his briefcase wet, hair ruined, but he felt no regret. His father would have been proud. What he didn't know was that helping Sophie would change everything. Sometimes life's biggest opportunities start with a small act of kindness when you think no one's watching. At 9:22, Mathieu rushed into Renault's sleek lobby, dripping. "Mathieu Lambert. Interview with Mr. Leroy." The receptionist, Sylvie, glanced up. "I'm sorry. Mr. Leroy had another appointment at 9:15. We require candidates to arrive 10 minutes early." "Is there any way to reschedule? I stopped to help someone with a flat." "I'll note that," she said gently, "but missed interviews are rarely rescheduled." As Mathieu turned to leave, a stir near the elevators caught his attention. Several employees straightened up as the elevator doors opened. A distinguished man with gray hair stepped out, flanked by two assistants scribbling notes on tablets. But it wasn't him who caught Mathieu's eye. It was the woman walking just behind him. Sophie. Still damp from the rain, she somehow looked elegantly disheveled. Mathieu froze in surprise. Before he could react, the receptionist's phone rang. After answering, she turned to him. "Mr. Lambert, you may go. Have a good day." He glanced back toward Sophie, but she had already disappeared down a corridor. With a sigh, he pushed through the revolving doors, unaware that he was being watched from the executive meeting room. "He was amazing, Dad," Sophie said as she removed her wet blazer and sank into a plush chair. No hesitation, no complaint, just pure kindness. Alain Dupont, CEO and majority shareholder of Renault Technologies, watched his daughter with affection. Over the years, he had built the company from a small parts maker into a global leader, driven by two values, innovation and character. "You're saying he mentioned an interview here?" "Yes," Sophie nodded. "Engineering, the 9 a.m. slot." Her green eyes, so much like her mother's, shone with determination. "We need to find him." Just then, Alain's assistant, Marie, entered. "The board is waiting in conference room A. Mr. Bertrand asks for the quarterly projections." "Tell them I'll be 5 minutes," Alain said, turning back to Sophie. "You know we have hiring protocols." "You always say character matters more than credentials," she countered. "This man is what you claim to value. Just find out who he is." Alain studied her face. She had become both his pride and his challenge since joining as Director of Innovation last year. "All right, I'll ask HR to identify him," he agreed. "But no promises," Sophie smiled. "That's all I'm asking." Meanwhile, on the third floor, Executive Vice President Victor Bertrand addressed his team confidently. "Moreau will get the propulsion lead role. I trained him for it." A junior analyst hesitated. "I heard Dr. Dupont is pushing for an outside candidate. Something about fresh perspective." Bertrand's smile tightened. At 55, he had spent 20 years climbing Renault's hierarchy, placing allies in key roles. Sophie's arrival last year had disrupted his carefully built influence. "Sophie's still learning how things work," he said. "Alain understands loyalty." Then his assistant rushed in. "Sir, rumor has it Alain Dupont is personally looking into a candidate who missed this morning's interviews." "Who?" Bertrand asked, suddenly alert. "A mechanic. He helped Sophie with her flat tire. Find everything about him, background, qualifications, everything." Later that day, Bertrand received a file. Mathieu Lambert. He read through it with growing concern. Engineering degree, top of his class, advanced certifications, and an engine innovation promising major fuel efficiency improvements. "Damn," Bertrand muttered, slamming the file shut. His candidate, Moreau, was loyal, but unimpressive. Mathieu, however, was a genuine threat. His intercom buzzed. "Christine Laurent from HR is here." Christine entered, clutching her tablet nervously. Though officially loyal to Alain, her allegiance lay with Bertrand, who once saved her son's job after a drug-related incident. "Tell me about Lambert," Bertrand said. "His profile is exceptional," Christine replied. "Exactly the kind of talent Dr. Dupont wants. Alain personally requested I look into him." Bertrand leaned in. "Christine, we've known each other a long time. Your son's still doing well in procurement?" She nodded, understanding the reminder. Good. Here's what will happen. Delete Lambert's file. If he follows up, give him a standard rejection. Understood. Christine hesitated. If Alain finds out, he won't unless you tell him. Bertrand smiled coldly. That's how business works. Some people fit our culture, others don't. What Bertrand didn't know was that Alain had already started his own investigation. He had a rule: observe leaders when they think no one's watching. And now, with Mathieu, he had found the perfect test. 3 days later, Mathieu was working at the garage when a familiar black Citroën DS7 pulled in. Sophie stepped out, followed by the gray-haired man from Renault HQ. Mr. Lambert, the man said, extending a hand, I'm Alain Dupont. Thank you for helping my daughter. Mathieu shook his hand, confused. No thanks needed, sir. On the contrary, Alain said, we're launching a next-gen propulsion division. I reviewed your portfolio. Your ideas are exactly what we need. But I missed the interview. Sometimes, Alain replied, life tests us when we least expect it. I saw your character. That's who I want in my company. A week later, while Bertrand was escorted out of the building following the discovery of his scheme, Mathieu settled into his new office at Renault Technologies. On his desk lay prototypes based on his designs, set to revolutionize engine efficiency and ease the shift to electric power. Sophie appeared at his door. So, how's your first day as Director of Technological Innovation? Mathieu smiled. Surreal. Hard to believe this all started with a flat tire. It wasn't the tire, she said. It was your choice. Most people would have driven by. Sometimes the biggest opportunities don't come from perfect planning, but from simple acts of kindness when no one's watching. And somewhere, Mathieu knew his father was smiling.